Now to some more breaking news. In a new memo obtained by CNN, the acting deputy attorney general says rank and file agents who simply followed orders to investigate January 6 will not be fired or otherwise punished. But that's just part of his message. Our senior justice correspondent Evan Perez is standing by. You broke the story. Evan, what are you learning?
Well, Dana, this is a memo from Emile Bove, who is the acting Deputy Attorney General. And one of the things he's doing here is to try to clarify and perhaps calm the nerves of people at the FBI that they might be getting fired simply for doing their job, simply for following, doing the work that they're assigned to do. They don't have a choice of which cases to work. And so that's what he's saying here. And but I'll read you just a part of the memo where he describes the interactions that have been going on behind the scenes that have not been public, and he accuses the acting leadership of the FBI with some of being insubordinate, essentially, because they had rejected his previous request to provide the names of agents, the core agents who had worked on these January 6 cases. I'll read you just a part of what he says here. He says that insubordination, this is from the week of January 27, he says that insubordination is necessitated, among other things, a directive in my January 31st, 2025 memo to identify all agents assigned to investigations related to January 6, 2021. In light of the acting leadership's refusal to comply with the narrow request, the written directive was intended to obtain a complete data set that the Justice Department can reliably pare down to the core team that will be the focus of the weaponization review pursuant to the executive order. This is the president's executive order that ordered essentially that the government be rid of any weaponization, including, of course, the FBI and the Justice Department. This is a memo, though, Dana, that really does raise additional questions, right? They say that they're not going to fire or punish agents who followed orders, but he does go on to say that people who should be concerned are people who may have been partisan or shown any other kind of weaponization of the FBI. How does that get defined? We don't know. And so we know that we expect today Pamela Bondi, the new Attorney General, who was sworn in just in the last hour or so at the Oval Office, she's taking office, and now she will be in charge of this review, which will be looking at all of these Trump-related cases, and we'll see how far down they go to take action against agents who are working on these cases that the president believes were weaponized against him. Dana?
Yeah, if he's thinking that this memo is going to make people FBI agents who were assigned to these cases feel more free to come forward, I'm not sure that was how it landed. Certainly not with me, but I'm not an FBI agent. Thank you so much for that great reporting, Evan. Evan mentioned Pam Bondi. She was just sworn in the last hour as the nation's attorney general. I want you to listen to what Donald Trump said about his new AG just a few moments ago.
I think she's going to be as impartial as you can possibly be. I know I'm supposed to say she's going to be totally impartial with respect to Democrats, and I think she will be as impartial as a person can be. I'm not sure if there's a possibility of totally, but she's going to be as total as you can get.
Look, that's just a Trump troll. He's walking up to the line. He kind of jokes at it. He didn't say it. If Stephen, who writes finer and faster leads than I do as a former Wire reporter, I don't know if you could say, write the lead on that. President Donald Trump, threatened to prosecute his enemies and not follow the law impartially. Like, he just kind of said it, but he didn't say it. So.
But impartial isn't in the eye of the beholder, right? And it's pretty clear what Trump means by impartial, and that is adopting his view of what impartial is. It's the same as weaponization. Republicans say the Justice Department and the FBI was weaponized. That's a fair argument, but they're weaponizing it in reverse.
Also, he didn't have to say anything.
Yeah.
Pam Bondi speaks Donald Trump.
Yeah, listen, she is in that position because she is a Donald Trump loyalist. She believes that 2020 was handled in a fraudulent way and that Donald Trump is the true winner of 2020, and she believes January 6th was essentially a walk in the park, and so she is going to be part of his revenge tour. She passed the loyalty test, as did Kash Patel, as did Tulsi Gabbard, as did Pete Hegseth, and they are going to do what Donald Trump wants them to do. They owe their positions to Donald Trump. Unlike what we saw in 2016, where these were people like Jeff Sessions who came with their sort of own stature and portfolios, these people are complete sycophants to Donald Trump, and they'll do what he wants them to do.